So since I've been back from the Dominican Republic, I've done a lot to progress the campaign for Altagracia in Philadelphia and at Temple. One of the first things that I did was I went to Drexel University to speak about my experience in the Dominican. I was invited by Professor Peter Amato, who teaches in the philosophy department at Drexel, and he was collaborating with the sports ethics classes and also Drexel for Justice group to put on an event which was more like an open discussion where we watched the ESPN segment on the Cowboys sweatshop news story, and then we brought it home and made it more local and talked about what we can do, what Altagracia is, what it used to be, and what other students are doing to bring more Altagracia to campus. So I was invited by them to come along with Chloe and Melissa, who go to Penn and Villanova, and also came on the trip to the DR. That's where we met. So it's really cool to have that network back in Philadelphia. So we all talked about what we saw, what we learned, how we lived with host families and gave their individual stories. And we also talked about what we're doing on campus to promote Altagracia and to help it grow at home. Altagracia depends on large orders from bookstores, and so to get there, it takes a lot of education for people who don't know what it is, so raising a lot of awareness, like going out and speaking to new students, where Altagracia is a new thing for them. And we talked about like how to convince bookstore managers that this is the right move for them to make, which is a hard job. So that was a great night, and we got to meet new people that are interested so we can maintain contact with them. Hopefully they can either visit the Dominican in the future, and for now we can just help them promote this campaign on their campus. So then after that event I had the bookstore manager meeting, which was actually on Friday. And today is Sunday, so 2 days ago. And I went with the Altagracia intern at Temple to go meet with our bookstore manager and talk about what our demands are for Altagracia on campus as students and how he can better advertise and market the brand, which is the bookstore manager's job. So one of the biggest struggles that universities are finding when they meet with their bookstore managers is that the managers don't seem to want to put in the work to promote this brand. It's easier to promote Under Armour, it's easier to promote Champion sales because that's who they have relationships with. Altagracia is growing, and although it's a branch of Knights Apparel, which is the largest collegiate company in the country, it still isn't a recognized brand for a lot of students. So we're working to get that brand recognized. This is the A to look for. So that's the label for the Altagracia brand. So one of the demands, which is sort of like a benchmark demand that other students are going into meetings with their bookstores managers with, is to order $250,000 worth of Altagracia apparel. Jim Hanley, who is our bookstore manager, said that he usually carries about $800,000 worth of inventory, so that would be 25%, and he claims that's too much. I argue that at least a quarter of the clothes offered in our bookstore are t-shirts and hoodies, which Altagracia is capable of producing, so there's no reason not to phase the sweatshop t-shirts out and bring in the sweat-free option, but we're taking baby steps. We have to work with this manager. So while he didn't agree to order that much by March or whenever his next order goes in, we did come to the agreement that starting on February 6th, which I think is next Friday, so in about a week, he will be putting Altagracia front and center in the bookstore right when you walk in, and it'll be down the center aisle. Our hopes in doing this is that more students, that's the first thing they see, and hopefully they check it out. He currently has 1,000 items in inventory for Altagracia, and so he made a deal with us that if he can sell 500 items within that 4-week period while Altagracia is front and center, then we can negotiate an ordering point. So we'll probably talk down from $250,000, but it's better to start high so that when you go lower, it's still reasonable. So we need to sell 500 in those 4 weeks. We need to sell 500 items and show him that this is a student demand and that students do care about the standards that they have on their campus and where their clothes are made. Right now it's so hard to find a sweat-free option, so we want to give students that option and educate them, because how many students, once they know about the difference in labor behind their t-shirt and workers' treatment behind their t-shirt, and with the same price points between t-shirts, how many students would say no to sweat-free clothing that actually is often a lot better quality? Altagracia makes regular cotton t-shirts, they make vintage style, they have women's cuts, men cuts, hoodies, and they're willing to make different products to reach the alumni market or the children's market. So our goal right now is to grow the t-shirts and the hoodies and then expand into more. What else did he agree? So another thing that he agreed to do is print off bag stuffers. So every student that goes into the store is going to have a bag stuffer advertising Altagracia, and hopefully that will boost sales. He also asked Maria, the Altagracia intern, and I to design a temple-specific one, which I think we're going to do. And on that, we can also provide contact information so that if people really are interested, we can get more people involved, because the more people that stand behind this, the stronger we are. And that's awesome, especially because I'm graduating in May. So he agreed for the front display. He agreed for the bag stuffers. We told him that when we went in the first time to find him, that when we asked the staff about where to find Altagracia in the bookstore, they had no idea what it was. So we talked to him about training his staff. There were no commitments to measure how much they know about it the next time we come in, but I'm obviously going to keep testing them and see what they know. And it's not their fault if they don't know, but they should be trained to know the products that they're selling. That's typically how sales works. So the fact that they don't know that is a little concerning. Why isn't their time being dedicated to that? So he also agreed to get more flashier advertising. When you go in there, Champion always has the recognizable C of Champion posters, and Under Armour clearly does. They're in the front of the store, and it's just a known brand. You advertise like crazy for that. So he said he would get flashier advertising. We'll see. We're hoping for that. And he asked that at our next meeting we go to the bookstore and walk the floor with him to talk about plans. So that's cool. And we talked about the tentative plans for Monday, February 13th, to have two of the workers, Maritza and Elba Norris, who are two workers at Altagracia that I met while I was there, who are coming to do a worker tour and talk about these changes that they've experienced and the fight they went through to unionize, to create this company, to get fair treatment and living wages. So I think it'll be cool to bring them into the bookstore and to present to the Temple students, because it's easier to commit to a friend than to commit to a cause. So hopefully, meeting these people in person sways people to really push these efforts at Temple even more. And then our plan is to organize around the worker tour and have a community delegation, in which the bookstore manager is there, the workers are there, the Altagracia education coordinator, Rachel Tabor, hi Rachel, is there, and if the students from Penn and Villanova can come, students from Drexel, faith groups in the community, just to show there's a lot of community support and that it's not just going on at Temple, it's actually being pushed elsewhere. Another thing I'm trying to encourage throughout the community is that different groups who order t-shirts, maybe it's sororities, maybe it's frat, maybe it's small businesses, that they could go and order their t-shirts from Ethics Merchandise. That's ETHIX merch.com. If you Google it, it comes up, but it's not Ethics, CKS, it's Ethics with an X. But they're a great company who orders wholesale Altagracia t-shirts, and they also have a union within their company, and so all the printing is done by unionized workers who are receiving good payment, good treatment, and stuff like that in the United States. So that's a really great way where if you're not making a huge order for thousands of dollars, you can still order through wholesale inventories at Ethics Merchandise. So that's something else I really want to encourage anyone who's thinking about buying t-shirts for a club, a business, whatever. So, tonight I am going to a local faith community. They have two services tonight, and a lot of times they do solidarity prayers on different issues every week. So this week they're focusing on workers' rights, and I'm going to go and talk about how they can help, pretty much give the spiel that I just gave, tell them about Ethics March, tell them about the 500 t-shirts we need to sell, and hopefully inspire them to really get behind this project with me and care, and with everyone else that's already working for this, and hopefully be a part of that $500 quota we need to reach. So I think that'll be really great. A lot of them are Temple students, if not they're community members, and so it's really great to do this outreach. So I'm still pretty excited about Altagracia. Of course, I wasn't going to lose it, but with school, time is really difficult, so this is such a dedication, and it's fun, and so I hope that I can see some change this semester before I have to leave, because Altagracia can make a difference. Look. So, rock on, Altagracia.